When you are young, you never think that something that usually only happens to elderly people would ever happen to you. Until it does. My name is Katie, and I have rheumatoid arthritis. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis the summer I was 16, and it changed my life forever. Rheumatoid arthritis has affected me in many ways, but the main way it has affected me is pain in my fingers and knee joints. Today, I will be talking about what rheumatoid arthritis is, how I got rheumatoid arthritis, how it has affected me, and how I'm managing it. Rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic autoimmune disease that causes pain, stiffness, swelling, and loss of function in your joints. I have been affected by all of these symptoms at once and at different times. Over the summer of my 16th year, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Here's how it happened. During the summer, I noticed a bump on my right knee, but I didn't think much of it because I figured it would go away. And it did. About a week later, I went to a friend's cabin with our moms, and we decided to go tubing. After about 10 minutes, the bump had come back, and my knee hurt really bad. I could hardly move it. I could barely walk. I knew something was wrong, and I knew I had to tell our moms. I showed our moms, and they told me I needed to get it checked out right away. So my mom and I drove home to Atria Hospital and got tests done immediately. After a few checkups, they couldn't find anything wrong, so they suggested that we go to a rheumatologist to rule out arthritis. After a very quick checkup, the rheumatologist told me I had rheumatoid arthritis. She explained what this meant for me and how I was going to be affected by this, not only physically, but internally. She told me my immune system was compromised and I needed to be extra careful when it came to COVID-19 because I was at a much higher risk of ending up being hospitalized because of it. As a 16-year-old, this was very hard to hear and accept. I felt many emotions over the next few weeks, but mainly I just felt helpless. I was going to doctor's offices every week, and I had a lot of trouble walking, and my knees and even some of my fingers ended up locking up, which made it very hard to do simple tasks. I often needed help carrying very light things, and it took me a lot longer to do simple things like walking. Over the next few months, I kept meeting with my rheumatologist, and we mainly focused on how to prevent the pain I was feeling. She ended up prescribing me a medication that was supposed to help with this pain, and after a few weeks, I noticed a major difference. I was able to walk without much pain, my joints weren't stiff anymore, and I was able to do simple tasks again. The goal of this medication was to eliminate my rheumatoid arthritis altogether. After a few months, she ended up prescribing me another medication because the first one wasn't working well enough alone. With both these medications working together, I seldomly felt any pain, and for the most part, I was able to go back to my normal life. A few years later, there was an issue with administering and accessing one of these medications, and I ended up having a flare-up. Right before this flare-up, my rheumatologist was going to wean me off of one of these medications in hopes that my rheumatoid arthritis was gone. After this flare-up, my rheumatologist and I realized that I was probably going to have rheumatoid arthritis for the rest of my life. I was sent back to when I first got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and the darkness I felt. I wasn't able to do simple tasks like taking groceries, and I could hardly walk again. This was very hard for me to deal with, but after a brief pity party, I picked myself up, and I knew I wasn't going to let this affect me. I found a new normal, and I am living a good life. In conclusion, the main way I was affected by rheumatoid arthritis was pain in my joints. I found out I had rheumatoid arthritis after tubing at a friend's cabin, and my life changed drastically with constant doctor's visits and needed help doing simple tasks and actions like taking in groceries and walking. After going on multiple medications, I am not affected by my rheumatoid arthritis unless I stop taking these medications, which results in a flare-up. After some hard times, I've found a new normal, and I'm living a good and ordinary life. Getting a life-changing diagnosis is scary, but it's up to you if it controls your life. Thank you for listening.